In the midst of a court battle with North Carolina over controversial law limiting transgender access to bathrooms, the White House issued letters to public schools stating they must allow transgender students to use the bathroom corresponding with their gender identity. News 8's Madeline O'Neill has more.
Martha, the letter doesn't include any new laws, but does provide guidance on what schools should do when they have a transgender student enrolled, which is something an area LGBTQ center director says is something many districts don't know about until it happens. Now local schools are figuring out what move they should take next.
I don't know a trans individual who does not have anxiety whenever they're needing to walk into a public restroom.
Jackson Jansen is happy the White House is pushing back against controversial bathroom bills that would require transgender people to use public bathrooms that correspond to the sex on their birth certificate.
I'm trans myself, and so to look at me, if any of the bathroom bills that went through in some of the southern states, they would be requiring me to walk into a women's bathroom right now. And I don't think that people think about that.
And he says letters from the federal government ordering public schools to allow transgender students to use bathrooms consistent with their gender identity can take off some pressure.
It's going to allow them to focus on studies, focus on their extracurricular activities, not think about what am I going to do when I have to go to the bathroom in 2 hours.
The letter offers guidance to schools based off their interpretation of Title IX of the Education Amendments, which protects students from discrimination based on sex. The Departments of Education and Justice say a student's gender identity is covered by Title IX's wording and provides rules for schools who may be unsure how to handle transgender students.
All districts, I think, in the state of Wisconsin are going to have to be taking very hard looks at this.
Local school districts say they will need some time to process the information. Bangor's superintendent says their current policy does address transgender status, and they'll make adjustments if necessary. The superintendent from Holman says she'll review the letter and assess what needs to be done.
We're here to try to meet individual needs and to make accommodations and follow the law. And that's the situation where, we're going to work very hard to try to meet the needs of students.
And while Jansen says this is a step in the right direction, there's still work ahead.
We usually, once we understand how we participate in somebody else's pain, we try to not do that anymore. This is a great first step, but there's still a lot of education that needs to be done.
With the letter, there is an implicit threat of cutting off federal funding if schools don't comply. That is, if the department's interpretation of Title IX holds up. I contacted all 5 school districts in La Crosse County, and of that, the 3 that were able to get back to me, West Salem was the only district to have received the letter by email at the time. They, along with Bangor and Holman, said they need some time to go over the letter before they know if there will be any changes at their districts.
All right, thanks a lot, Madeline. That White House letter also tackles issues like safeguarding transgender students' privacy, harassment protection, and also using the correct gender pronouns.